Good morning, beloveds. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Chico. My name is Michael Benson, staff minister here at the center, and it's my pleasure and our pleasure to welcome you this morning to a very special ceremony, that of the burning bowl, a ritual that will allow us to release whatever has been that no longer serves us, and then to create a new and clear and purposeful intention for 22. This morning, the candle is also lit for Betty White, one who signified, exemplified, and lived humor, love, and inclusion. So let's take a moment to fondly remember Betty White. So it is. This morning on platform is Reverend Eileen Brownell. We have Vicki Lopes, and we have Crystal Lively, and myself. So I would like to also share with you this morning that as we begin the service, that our annual theme is just love. Just love. Isn't that wonderful? Let's all just love this year. So I will begin the ceremony with explaining what this actually means and does. The burning bowl ceremony. This is the end of the year is a good time to reflect on what is essential in our lives, what is not. Different nations, religions, and spiritualities celebrate the completion of one year and the beginning of the next, with many different traditions. Some celebrations last a week and include parades and declarations, while others break earthen jars, which symbolize the holding, then releasing of all bad fortune. Many of us make New Year's resolutions, and then, within a few weeks, our resolve to exercise more, eat healthier, stop smoking, or change jobs fall by the wayside. It's important that we remember that resolutions are not effective when they come from a resistance to what has been. For example, we might resolve to get out of debt, but the mistake we make is not setting our intent to be prosperous. However, when we establish and set our intentions from our deepest and essential self, choosing to focus on our intentions for the coming year, we are normally more successful. The burning bowl ceremony is derived from Buddhist customs. The process we will use today is similar to the Buddhist ceremony, and that each of us will benefit by releasing the old and what no longer serves beliefs, and then setting our intentions for the new year. Remember, there is no power in the ritual itself. It's merely a way to center our mind and focus on a particular purpose. Ceremony is a tangible expression of what we do mentally. Ritual can help us align our thinking and feelings that are necessary for the internal creative process. What we are about to do today is a symbolic way to cleanse our lives, let go of perceived mistakes and failures from the past, and move on. Reverend Eileen.
In the middle of winter, there is a temptation to numb ourselves out or numb our senses and wait for spring to arrive with the flowers, the bumblebees, the butterflies, and then kind of decide that we'll re-enter life again. But each season holds an equal amount of wisdom that is just waiting to be unlocked by those who are truly awake. Our ancestors had absolutely no choice. They had to listen. Their lives depended on it, and their spirits thrived on the deep understanding that they were inspired by the earth cycles that happened in fall, winter, spring, and summer. Native shamans, granny healers, and wise elders weaved their own unique tapestry of the spirit world. They all use the same threads and the same fabric. One strand that I hear frequently in various cultures goes something like this. The outer world is a reflection of the universe within each and every one of us. By closely witnessing our surroundings, you can access infinite valuable teachings about our soul's journey. There's a personal lesson I've been slowly beginning to internalize as the natural world outside sits and I become quiet. Something in that silence speaks to me about the shortest route to peace. The teaching is this. Many of us attempt to solve our own struggles by giving them a tone of life energy, of turning each over and over in our hands, just much like we do a Rubik's Cube as we turn it within trying to solve the problem. This method sometimes works, but often the exact opposite approach is required to resolve it. Rumi tells us that make like a tree and let the dead leaves drop. When I walk in Bidwell Park, I see the naked branches of the entire park alive with trees now. Gazing at them, the question that subtly forms in the back of my mind is this. What thoughts, habits, or relationships am I holding on to that are no longer serving me? The majestic oaks and elms and sycamores in our beautiful Bidwell seem to have no problem letting go of everything each and every year. They are born with the knowledge that new leaves will always grow back once the time is right. By letting the leaves drop, they create fertile ground before other plants and creatures to grow and thrive within. Their annual dying process is actually a gift of life not only to themselves, but their whole entire world. This feels like strikingly similar to the inner journey that we embark upon in sacred ceremonies. In most native rites of passage, there is a confrontation with our own mortality and a purification or removal of what is no longer necessary on our life's journey or on our path. Substitute the leaves with the thousands of stories that we individually repeat year after year after year, or even subconsciously within. Some leafy thoughts come to mind, which, like, I'd be totally happy if only I have X and Y. Or how about I shouldn't have to deal with this at my age? Or I'm not worthy of love because I'm not good enough. Get the picture? You know you have some of these hang-arounders clinging to you that you haven't released and let go of just yet. Why is it so hard to let them drop? The trees certainly don't have that issue. Here's a possibility. Our ego strongly wants things to stay the way they are. It wants predictability, it wants patterns, formulas, and continued survival of our physical body. God bless our heart. But this ego-driven fear of change means that even the bad stuff stays. If you're looking to shed some leaves and would like a way to work with the ego and let them drop, then you have to come to the divine right place today, and it may help you on your journey in 2022.
Now it's time for us to consider what we want to create in our life in 2022. Our big goals need to be supported by our intentions. This process may be frustrating for you. It sometimes is for me. In the time we have here, we can't possibly define a comprehensive life plan, or maybe even a year-long plan. What I hope to achieve is to share a few ideas with you, get you thinking, and support you in living consciously. Do you feel passionate about some goals? Do you want to feel that way? Have you set goals before? I have. Change your perspective? Instead of putting a goal out there, thinking we must strive to reach it, shift your thinking, your perspective, to feel yourself being drawn towards something yet unrealized. But the something, the intention, is already an idea in an infinite mind. And so envisioning, we are engaged in a process of accepting what is. This moves us from being driven or pushed to feeling a divine urge within. This moves us from being driven or pushed to a feeling of the divine urge within, so that we feel led, guided, and directed. Burning in the heart of each of us, I believe, is a flame of divine discontent that lifts us up and moves us from within. So we're going to fan the flame today by consciously casting for our dreams. We're not being pushed to something. Rather, we are following an urgent call of something that draws us. And we're claiming our inheritance. In setting a goal, we are speaking a word of acceptance. In setting a goal, we are speaking a word of acceptance and thereby putting into motion all the creative power of your mind, of universal mind. That dimension of you that is so creative, so powerful, your subconscious mind, is like a willing servant. It never asks why, never questions your choice, but it carries out the orders you give it with unerring precision. What we're doing envisioning is consciously choosing what we want. We're choosing our thoughts and our beliefs because each thought is a seed planted in the creative medium of life. Every time you choose and you accept your choice, you set the creative power of the universe in motion. So we're doing this consciously and realistically. Realistic goals are those you can mentally accept, that you can believe. For instance, if I were to have as my goal walking on the moon and had no intention of becoming an astronaut, but relied solely on some handmade wings I had built in my garage, I would have an unrealistic intention, wouldn't I? A person who has had a poverty consciousness all of his or her life and sets a goal to be a multimillionaire in a single bound is completely unrealistic. The law is that which you can believe in, accept for yourself, and confidently expect is bound to become your experience. So what do you want? Let's take a moment right now and get clearer on this. What do you intend to create next year? So please join me in a short meditation on clarifying your intention. Close your eyes and go to that place within you. Take 3 deep breaths. And now ask yourself, what do I want? What is it? Even though it stretches me, can I believe in, accept, and confidently expect? In the various areas of your life, relationships, career, financial, special callings, what is there for me to experience that is pulling me toward it? And ask yourself, if not now, when? Hopefully you've let go of some things this evening and you have a clearer path. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. When you're ready, open your eyes, find the large piece of paper, and begin writing what your intentions are for the coming year. Take another couple of minutes and complete your intentions, at least for now. More will come up. Okay then, let's bring that to a close for now, and we'll proceed with the next part of our adventure this morning in self. Crystal and Vicky.
Now we are going to read some things that will remind us of ways that might get in our way as we create these intentions. Some affirmations. My past does not define me. I don't know if that's going to come up here. Great. Oh, wrong way. So we'll go through these one by one, and I have some quotes to reinforce these affirmations. In saying that no man puts a piece of new cloth on an old garment or new wine into old bottles, Jesus was teaching a lesson in religious development. We are continuously living a new life, and when the old life and the new life do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. Continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on the path of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can it evolve. This does not mean that we should cast away any good the old has to offer, but that we convert it into a greater good. Accepting the lessons and experiences of the past and taking the best from everything, we should press boldly forward, looking ever for the truth and ever ascending higher and higher into the heavens of reality. There is no limit to the possibility inherent in all men. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and bravely press on. This is from The Science of Mind. It's New Cloth and Old Garments, which was taken from Matthew 9. It's in page 439 on The Science of Mind. Another quote would be, "The biggest key to how to release the past is to stop living there. You must shift your focus to be mindful of the present. Remember that the present is the only time that matters. It's what is happening right now, and it's why there's nothing more powerful than the human soul rooted in the present moment, free from the past or the future. You can teach yourself to be present. If you want more joy, more happiness, more fulfillment, engage with your life. Stop giving it to the temptations to transport out of the present moment. Bring your attention to this moment right now and take stock of what is beautiful. The biggest key to how to forget the past is to stop living there." Tony Robbins.
When I think about how that may apply in my life, and perhaps in each person may think about how these quotes may apply in each of your lives here and out in Zoom land, YouTube land. My choices and what is considered the past have helped me learn and evolve into who I am in each moment, as past, present, and future really are all in the now, right now. If I dwell on the past or any future happening out of fear or shame, my awareness of high consciousness truth that is always present in, as, and through me becomes distorted. So I therefore choose anchoring my beingness in the present, embracing the past, present, and the future in this now moment, who I really am, living the embodiment of Christ consciousness. My past does not define me. The next quote is, "I am enough as I am." Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. As we let our light shine in, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence actually liberates others. Maturity includes the recognition that no one is going to see anything in us that we don't see in ourselves. Stop waiting for the producer. Be the producer. Marianne Williamson.
I love me some good Marianne Williamson quotes. How I interpret that is, I am made of all there is. I am one with the divine and created from this perfect pattern, and I am a unique expression of this perfection. And in that, I am enough. I am enough as I am. And our next affirmation is, I choose to forgive and let go. And this quote is from Pope Francis. At times, how hard it is to give, and yet pardon is the instrument placed in our fragile hands to attain serenity of the heart. Thich Nhat Hanh says, Buddhism teaches that joy and happiness arise from letting go. Please sit down and take inventory of your life. There are things you have been hanging on to that really are not useful and deprive you of your freedom. Find the courage to let them go. Letting go takes a lot of courage sometimes, but once you let go, happiness comes very quickly. You won't have to go around to search for it. Robert Holden says, true forgiveness is a self-healing process which starts with you and gradually extends to everyone else. And I've got my own Marianne Williamson here for you. Forgiveness is not always easy. At times, it feels more painful than the wound we suffered to forgive the one that inflicted it. And yet, there is no peace without forgiveness. The practice of forgiveness is our most important contribution to healing the world. Remember, when you forgive, you heal, and when you let go, you grow.
So for me, and maybe for some of you here and out there, holding on to hurt and anger really only serves to weigh me down. And it creates a barrier between me and other people, keeping my ego, which is edging God out, front and center. So I've found a sense of freedom and well-being and peace in my heart when I actually get myself out of the way. The convoluted mishmash of thoughts that I struggle with really dissipate when I do this, and opening my heart to receiving the beauty and increased clarity of each divine moment. I choose to forgive and let go.
And the last affirmation is, I let go of fear and judgment. Breath by breath, let go of fear, expectation, anger, regret, cravings, frustration, fatigue. Let go of the need for approval. Let go of old judgments and opinions. Die to all that and fly free. Soar in the freedom of desirelessness. Lama Shira Das.
We'll conclude the affirmations and the quotes by a quote from Dan Millman. To let go does not mean to stop caring. It means I can't do it for someone else. To let go is not to cut myself off. It is the realization that I can't control another. To let go is to admit powerlessness, which means the outcome is not in my hands. To let go is not to try to change or blame another. It is to make the most of myself. To let go is not to care for, it is to care about. To let go is not to fix, it is to be supportive. To let go is not to judge, it is to allow another to be a human being. To let go is not to be in the middle, arranging all the outcomes. It is to allow others to alter their own destinies and affect their own destinies. To let go is not to deny, it is to accept. To let go is not to nag, scold, or argue. It is to search out my own shortcomings and correct them. To let go is not to adjust everything to my desires. It is to search out my own shortcomings and correct them. To let go is not to adjust everything to my desires. It is to take each day as it comes and to cherish myself in it. To let go is to not to regret the past. It is to grow and live in the future. To let go is to fear less and love more. I let go of fear and judgment.
Let's say those affirmations again one more time, except let's put a little bit of enthusiasm behind them. Okay? My past does not define me. I am enough as I am. I choose to forgive and let go. I let go of fear and judgment. Thank you, Vicki and Crystal. And I might add that Crystal stepped in at the last minute because Vicki was, or rather Julie, who was supposed to be with us today, was unable to make it due to a health reason. So now we're getting ready to go to that place where we're going to do the burning bowl ceremony. So I want you to just take a couple of nice deep breaths and let's get into this. And know that everything you have envisioned, felt, and heard is doable, and that you have the power within you to accomplish what it is that you're choosing to experience in 2022. Vicki and Crystal have helped you look at things that may get in your way of creating your intentions, creating the journey that you're choosing to have in the coming year. So, setting our thoughts and new beliefs aside for just a few moments so that we can walk through the burning bowl ceremony. And let's move into that place that is preventing us from accomplishing what it is that we choose to bring into our life in the coming year. What is the first thing that comes to your mind that's standing in your way of accomplishing what you want to do, of having your intentions happen? No judgment, just objectively observe what comes to mind in this moment. What is it within you that will have to change in order to make room for this new good that you're choosing to have and that you've envisioned? What idea or ideas have you habitually entertained that must now shift so that you can create the new? The Buddhist sand mandalas are incredibly creative. If you've ever seen one, and we've had a few of them displayed at the university, initially the mandala is a work of art made from sand, colored sand. They usually take about 7 or 8 days to create. They're about 10 feet in diameter. They're absolutely magnificent pieces of art. But once they're completed and blessed, they are soon released and let go. They let the sand go and it's destroyed in order to release the fascination and attachment with the form, to allow the energy of the idea to take new form. That's why they do what they do when they create the sand mandalas. We also must give up the lesser idea to make room for the greater good that resides within all of us. It is time to release the big stuff, the fears, the unworthiness, the self-limiting ideas, and any negative self-thoughts that you might have that would prevent you from taking that step forward this coming year. No matter how long it's been around or how comfortable it has become, it's time to let it go. This is not the time for weak or half-hearted efforts, so I want you to dig deep. What is the one idea that if your consciousness were completely free of it, you absolutely know that you would finally, truly be liberated and that your life would change dramatically? When you find yourself able to name it and label it, You're reclaiming your own individual power within. True change takes more than just one decision or one time. It takes vigilance. It's purposeful, ongoing work, but it's well worth it in the long run. Moving into worthiness is a journey. There is always another level to be revealed and understood and experienced. Now, in the envelope that you received this morning, you're going to find a tiny little piece of paper. Go ahead and take that out at this time. And just bring yourself back to center, close your eyes, and think about the questions that I asked you earlier. The fears, the judgments, what's getting in the way? What is it that you're choosing to release or let go of? What is it that you need to write on that tiny piece of flash paper so that you can release it here and now in this day? This is your private spiritual work. Go ahead and take your time. It doesn't have to be neat or orderly, and nobody else is going to see whatever it is that you write on that piece of paper. Add or change anything that feels right or that makes you feel clearer and better at this time. Take about 60 seconds more. Earlier today, Michael lit the candle for us in honor of Betty White, but we're also going to be using that individually in this burning bowl process. Because the candle is the symbol of our transformation. The fire takes the paper and changes it from one form into another form. Likewise, in our individual lives, we take these blocks and these fears, these old hurts, these judgments, these angers, and these mistakes that we've made from the past, but that we've continued to carry like a garbage bag on our back, and we burn them. This releases our personal power, freeing it up to work in our lives in a more constructive way and manner. We realize that it takes a lot of energy to hang on to those mistakes that we've made and the fears that we have, or the fears that we've hidden. And now it's time to let them go. Now is the time to take that energy and choose to use it in a way that is conscious and life-enhancing and positive. And when you are completed with your paper, which I assume that you are now, I'm going to ask you to follow our directions because we're still trying to keep with COVID protocol. And Vicky's going to be over here at this side of the stage, and Crystal is going to be at this side. We're going to ask everyone when you come up to do this individually that you come up and around and keep your 6 feet apart from each other. do it, or burn your paper and come back on this side and go back to your seat. And I'm going to dismiss you according to sections so that we don't get all jammed up at once today, so that we keep within the protocol. Michael's going to demonstrate for us how we're going to do this, and you'll notice that up here on the overhead is an affirmation or a statement that supports Michael with the intention that he has for burning whatever it is that he's choosing to burn. If you choose to, you can announce, I'm letting go of fear, for example. And you go to the flame and you light it, and we will affirm that for you by saying, I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, and I support your release and intentions with love. And what we're doing is we're supporting each other in our efforts for the coming year. It's very affirming. So Michael's going to demonstrate how you're going to do this and tell you exactly, no, Michael, you don't need to do that.
That's for me.
Go ahead and tell them what you're doing.
I'm releasing control. Be sure to let go.
That's
If you don't
That's
let
the
go of
im-
stuff, you get burned. Very, very.
That's the important
Symbol.
part, is once it's lit, be sure and let it go. Don't try and hang on to it. So I'm going to ask the back row to come up first over here to Vicki. And this section here, if you choose not to announce it, that's okay. You don't have to. We're still going to affirm you anyway. Yes, Amy? Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you. Michael, I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love. Yay.
Thank you.
Okay, the back row, come on up. And if you choose not to announce it, but that you just want to go ahead and light it and torch it, that's fine. You're completely in control. But we will affirm for each of you. Terry, I
Hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your intentions with love.
I release my fear, my control, and things that no longer serve me.
Cat,
Cat, I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love.
be sure and stand up here and absorb what is being affirmed for all of you. Go ahead, David.
In my life, I come first.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. And I support your release and intentions with love.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love.
I release fear of everything I listed on this and more, and I almost used the back side.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love.
I am releasing disability.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love.
I release fear.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions with love. Let's have this section go ahead and come on up while with Andy's section, Andy and Sherry, have your group come on up while you do yours.
I release my fears.
I hear you. I see you. I agree with you. I support your release and intentions
self-limiting beliefs.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love. I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, and I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
I want to release limitation and angst.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love. I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
Can we have this section go ahead and come on up while our next person comes?
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
Michael, where's your?
Here you go. You need to. Okay. Come on, Connie.
Try to toss it, not stick it in there and leave it. Thank you.
I release the feeling of being stuck where I am.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, and I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
Fear and doubt.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
I release judgment.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
If we could have this section go ahead and come on up.
I release all this.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
I release my fear of making a mistake.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
I have a lot written on this, but let's see. I release weakness.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions with love.
I release all that does not serve me.
I hear you, I see you, I agree with you, I support your beliefs and intentions
inside as part of your packet, I believe it's inside your envelope, is a commitment to self-form. My 2022 commitment to and that is for you to sign and to date, and that you will take with you today. This will assist you in deepening and affirming for yourselves your commitment to something new, something greater, something more affirming for your life. There is also a blank sheet of paper as part of your handouts this morning. And so when you locate that, unfold it. And now we would cherish your writing a letter to yourself for the year 2022. And you'll begin that letter, dear, whatever your name is. And in this letter, write down all the affirming statements about yourself. Write down your goals for yourself. Example, I trust myself enough that I am whatever. There is more love in my life, and it shows up as supportive relationships. Dear self, my life is filled with abundant joy and gratitude for all that is in my life. My awareness has enlarged and is more acute than ever before. My heart is filled with the beauty and the joy of my life, as only I can do. I step out and step into something new because I deserve it. sure to include the feelings that will be realized for you, not just the things, but how you will feel when this is the reality. And when you've finished your letter to yourself, be sure and sign and date it. And put that letter back into the envelope. Let's take another 3 or 4 minutes to complete your letter. Just to be clear, the commitment to yourself, the contract you signed, is to go home with you today. And your letter to yourself goes in the envelope. Yes. Clear? Any questions? The intentions? No, you can take those home with you, your intentions. Just the letter to yourself goes in the envelope. Yes. And then seal it and, or not, whatever you're comfortable with. And then you're going to address it to yourself. And sometime in the next 6 months or so, you will receive your letter in the mail. And how exciting that will be to see the realization of your intentions. And then at the time of the offering today, we'll have you place your letters to yourselves in that receptacle, either back here. Yeah. Okay. Everyone complete? All right. Namaste.
We'll also have a basket out in the foyer. You can either put them in with your offering there or in the foyer. Master Eckhart, back in about 12 or 1300s, made the comment or made the quote, the statement, that if the only prayer you state is thank you, it is enough. And so as we approach the coming year, all is well if we take a few moments of time to express gratitude and thank you for what has transpired in 2021. And so often we look at what transpired because of COVID, because of 1/6, because of a multitude of things that happened. We don't look at the year with a great deal of gratitude in our heart. In your packet of stuff was a Thanksgiving tree. If you'll pull your Thanksgiving tree out, and we're going to do a guided meditation, and at the conclusion of that, you will complete the Thanksgiving tree. So just have it at the ready with your pen and the form there in front of you. And we will go ahead and move forward with that. So if you've got it ready, here we go. So go ahead and kind of do any shifts or adjustments that you may need to make within your chair. Put your feet flat on the ground. And realize that you are completely and totally supported by the chair. You have nothing to be afraid of. Now bring your awareness to your breathing. And notice as you watch your breath that it becomes deeper and fuller and more balanced. The breath is the internal cycle of reception and release within our physical bodies. It is the eternal activity of God in us. With every breath, you now become more aware and more conscious of the indwelling presence of God, which is your higher wisdom self. Now let your breath serve as a pathway to your heart. Allow your awareness to move into your heart, for it is here that you begin to see with the eye of the heart, which is the eye of wisdom, the eye of love. And now, in the silence of your heart, ask your higher wisdom self to guide you through this process. Ask to have revealed to you everything that you need to know for your highest good and healing right here, right now. Let us begin by asking your higher wisdom self to scroll back through time and to draw up into your awareness one of the most memorable moments of this last year, 2021, for which you are grateful for. Allow your higher wisdom self to draw into your awareness a significant experience that occurred sometime during the process or during the year. It may have been either a positive or a negative experience at the time, but either way, it now creates a deep feeling of a sense of gratitude in you. Now, in your mind's eye, notice where you were, who you were with, what you were doing, and how you were feeling. Now let your higher wisdom self magnify the feelings of this experience so that they become completely real for you. Now ask your higher wisdom self to show you what you came to learn about yourself or your relationship with life out of this experience. Perhaps it was some skill, or perhaps some wisdom, or self-knowledge, or a greater depth of spiritual meaning. Now, in this present moment, allow your higher wisdom self to reveal to you the Word of God that came into your awareness during the experience. What was the quality of the divine that you experienced? Was it love, wisdom, or maybe peace, or beauty, or joy? Perhaps it was freedom. Simply notice what life-positive quality you experienced for which you are now grateful. Now thank your higher wisdom self for the guidance and the direction that has been given through this process. Most especially give thanks for the wisdom and the understanding that has been revealed to you. Now bring your awareness back to your breathing. Feel the movement of the breath in your body. Feel the presence of your body in the room. Feel your feet on the floor and feel the chair that supported you. And when you're ready, open your eyes and allow your awareness to come gently back into the room. And when you're ready, begin to complete your Thanksgiving tree. Take about 60 seconds more. Okay, who knows that they are here it's to share what they're grateful for that happened in 2021? Who would like to share? All you have to do is say what you were grateful for. You don't have to explain what the experience was or anything. Who would like to share? Thank you, Connie. Go ahead.
I got the experience of being with my mom. When she made her transition, and it was profoundly beautiful.
Thank you, Connie. It's a blessing that not all of us get to experience, so thank you for sharing that. Would anybody else yet? Go ahead.
I was
grateful that they did. Yes. We're all grateful for that. Michael? They're all yours.
So, as we near the conclusion of this sacred moment, I will have us consider our being blessed in the monetary category of life, and to take for a moment during this offertory time to embrace the idea of your abundance and to expand that idea for your lives in 2022. So take a moment and hold that in your heart, know it in your mind, that all are divinely blessed, that each of us gives from the fullness of that which has already been given, and that we move that into the next evolution of itself. And so this morning, as we give, know that we've received. And let us say our offertory this morning. We'll bring that up. We may not have it. No? Well, I think we probably could say that by heart, right? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And so I will offer the closing prayer treatment this morning. And then after the treatment, I would invite you to stay seated for a moment because we have a special presentation on the screen. So take a deep breath right now and know with me that the divine, the infinite spirit, the one God, the one presence, is always present wherever I am. And that this presence, this love, is expressing fully, deeply, completely through all of life, therefore through all of myself and you, each of us, a divine light in the universal one. And so this day has been sacred indeed in the remembrance of all the goodness and the light and the releasing and the accepting. It's a divine cycle and circle of completion and beginning. Without there is no end. And so I give thanks this morning for all of you and I here, all the people, all the situation of sharing, the process of releasing the intentions and the fears into the divine light from which it truly does come. And so in gratitude for all of this, I give great thanks and I release into the law of divine mind. And we say together, and so it is.